I do want to talk about dead internet theory a little bit because I'm having a harder time figuring out what is real on the internet now. I mean, it's just getting crazier and crazier and weirder and weirder. And we did a dead internet theory coverage video 3 years ago. A whole live stream 3 years ago on it. So we were fairly ahead of the curve. I wasn't the first to talk about that. There were some other live streams that talk about it. I know it goes back to like 4chan theories and all that. The original theories are kind of ridiculous, right? It's like, oh, everybody on the internet after 2016 is a bot and it's all fake. I mean, that's schizo level stuff. But they were onto something with the coming alterations that we did see at the time of 2016 that I think Google began to make due to the nonsense of Russian collusion and that the bots that the Russians bought were changing the election results. Just super dumb. I mean, you have to be like committed boomer tard Democrat to believe that. Are we 100x from the low of 2017? That's possible because I don't know what the low of 2017 was, but I'm thinking from the time I started buying. I started buying at around 2,000 or 2,500. I can't remember if I bought it 2,000 or 2,800, but it was pretty low. But yeah, if you go from like whenever, I'm sure in 2017 at one point Bitcoin was 1,000, so that's probably 100x. But anyway, I mean, why am I talking about dead internet theory? Because I see bots now that are pretty sophisticated arguing very precise things. And I don't know how this works or how they do it. But I'm pretty sure even a lot of the things that I see responding to me, just trying to start crap, just trying to, stoke nonsense. Like, yes, I understand that some people I might have blocked in the past can create a new profile or whatever. But there's a lot of bots in a lot of comments that are new profiles with no followers and like a few comments, literally like very precise in their replies. So that to me suggests that botting has gotten really sophisticated. And remember, bots can now have entire conversations with bots that seem legit. Now, if you talk about crypto, for example, you will immediately see this in your videos. Anytime I do a video that discusses Bitcoin, it's inevitable that underneath I will get the gibberish crypto bots talking and arguing with one another. In fact, the last time I had to delete a entire discussion of all bots that most of us, probably 40 and under, would recognize as fake. Boomers would believe this. They'd be in there trying to argue with the crypto bots like I can't get the Bitcoin out of my Game Boy. How do I get the Bitcoin out of the Game Boy and into the ATM to get the Bitcoin dollars out? Right now, they're not going to be able to spot the bots. But I will say, though, that like the bots are getting more sophisticated than they were like 10 years. Remember 10 years ago on Facebook, you would get on Facebook and it would be like 10 butts that are trying to befriend you. I was like, oh shit, I already had like 5 butts as my friend. I guess I'll take another 10 more butts as my BFFs. More like face butt. And it would just, I mean, I'm joking. Obviously those are bots too. Because like, how many butts are actually on profiles on Facebook? Not very many. But we're no longer in the butt befriending phase. We're in the, it's still annoying and it's dumb. And you can spot it, but it's sophisticated enough that a lot of people fall for it, is what I'm trying to say. And then I'm noticing, right, and Twitter seems to be really bad about it because remember for a while there, for like a year, as soon as you put anything up, it's like the OF bots were immediately there posting gibberish and butts and prawn. And now I get the crypto bots on my Twitter too, immediately pushing gibberish, scam coins, and whatever else. So they changed the algorithm in 2016. Also, by the way, people forget that I'd forgotten this, that a big part of the change of the internet was not just the rise of Facebook, which happened to come the day after they had shut down that DARPA program called LifeLog. So LifeLog was this tracking and tracing post 9/11 gibberish nonsense that people forget, that was pioneered by DARPA, and it was then shut down because of libertarian criticism at the time. The very next day, right, Facebook premieres Facebook, and it just happens to be the privatized identical version of what the DARPA program was, right? So that was the beginning of the downfall of the classic internet that we all knew. The next phase, though, was when, I think it was around, I just looked this up, it was like, I don't remember the exact year, but it's like 2011 or 12, I think it's 2011, where Facebook decided to institute an algorithm that was no longer going to show you your friends' post, but what they thought you needed to see. In other words, a version of the For You that we all love to hate now. This was the beginning also of the end, because now face butts were feeding you mainstream news that you didn't even ask for in your feed. That was the beginning of algorithmic deciding of what you need to see. And they pushed it like, oh, but it's going to be awesome because it's going to help you choose like what would be great for you. And there is a plausible element to this because, for example, if you have YouTube Music, which is actually really good, that algorithm actually works pretty good to find other selections like what you like. All right, so the idea isn't bad. It actually kind of makes sense. It saves you time in terms of like tracking down and trying to find some cool song that used to take maybe, I don't know, hours to hear something new that was cool. But the trade-off is, oh yes, you see now the algorithm will control everything. And so that then led to the next phase of the era of Trump, which became the justification for everything has to change in terms of the internet because of the Russian bots and the Russia collusion stuff. Now, we all know, as I said day one, that that was all fake and gray. Even though it's all fake and gray, all of the algorithmic destroying of the internet stayed in place. Well, of course it did, because that was just a pretense. The Trump nonsense was just a pretense for basically the destruction of the internet as we all knew it. And here's the funny part. The so-called bots that were influencing boomers to vote for Trump because of little tiny squares on Facebook that the bots were buying out of Moldova, which supposedly swung the election. Ironically, it's the same system and establishment that is flooding with bots everywhere, I believe, to create a synthetic fake and gray internet. Now, what's the basic level? Yes, there's a basic level to where your data is being sold to push ads to sell crap to you. That's like layer one that normies get to, right? If you watch a lot of YouTube videos about dead internet theory, it's a lot of soy normies, and they're like, it's a conspiracy to sell you stuff. Wow, mind-blowing. Yeah, data-driven advertising. Yeah, wow. Groundbreaking. Yeah, good job, soy man. But it's really naive to think that that's the extent of dead internet theory's accuracy and purpose. It's obviously about perception management and swaying public opinion. Now, it's not all the bots directed by CENTCOM or the government or whatever. There's other players as well, right? You can go hire, if you're a crypto scammer, you can hire bots to push your scammy crypto coin. So there's a lot of different people doing this, but the botting seems to have basically taken over large portions of where we all now congregate to discuss the issues. And it will also probably be partly the justification for why we're going to have this ID verification internet that's coming. And all of the reasons that they give are not the real reasons, obviously, right? Like, so somebody asked me the other day, they said, are you going to cover the UK because it's actually undergoing a socialist collapse? That's pretty wild. I mean, that's actually, again, John Coleman, conspiracy theorist, I mean, he's been right about pretty much everything. There's a couple of things that he got wrong. Okay, he was writing in the 90s as a boomer. Yeah, he's going to get stuff wrong. I don't think that, what's his name? Adorno wrote all the Beatles songs. Okay, that's over the top. But a lot of the basics that Coleman talks about are spot on. He said there was going to be massive demographic R-ment. That would be done by design. There would be complete open borders eventually by design. He talked about a lot of stuff that would be in place by 2025. So he's spot on about that. I would say he gets a minus in terms of his predictive accuracy. And going back and reading some of his 90s books about what the technocrats have planned is really eye-opening. Anyway, so dead internet theory is seemingly about half right about where we're at right now. And there was just an article that came out a couple days ago that about half of the internet traffic they now believe is bots. And that's everything. So that's making me think, okay, view counts, likes, ad click revenue, like all this stuff is fake. I mean, it's not totally fake. Obviously, we do get an audience over here. We're getting, consistent viewership for the most part. But I noticed, for example, in the last 2 weeks, we were getting on our live streams upwards of anywhere from 30 to 50,000, and now we're back down to 20,000 on average. So, am I going to stop using AI tools? I don't use AI tools except for thumbnails. Is that what you're talking about? And actually, I'm kind of getting tired. I thought it was funny to make the preachers on the AI stuff, but I'm kind of tired of that now. So I might actually not use that. I do like listening to these spy things and the Japanese funk. But let me play you a little bit of this, and then we're going to open it up. Don't worry.
Online network called Internet.
Oh, that's
that little mark with the A and then
An online network called Internet.
Oh, that's
that little mark with the A and then the ring around it.
At.
See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But really, it's a revolution on the internet, the way that these people are getting the information out.
Yeah, it certainly is.
And the incentives of platforms are entirely towards censorship, towards taking posts down.
Every Australian will be locked out of their Google account, their Yahoo account, their Microsoft account until they verify their age, which...
Now, this is what's going on in the UK Commonwealth Dominion lands. They're pushing the ID verification in order to save the children. Yeah, right. The establishment flooded the whole world with degeneracy on purpose, but now we're supposed to believe they care about the children. The same people behind Jeff Stein McCaffrey suddenly care about children. No, this is to basically get rid of the internet as we know it. So this is all part of dead internet theory. Absolutely. And the botting and the AI fakeness is also going to be part of the excuse. So in other words, the system, the establishment releases this junk. Now everything gets fake and gray. Oh, we don't know. Boomers can't tell if, Tupac and Elvis are standing on the moon in an AI photo with LeBron James and it looks real and the boomers are confused. Oh, is that really LeBron on the moon? How'd they get him up there? It's AI, dude. It's not real, boomer. LeBron doesn't have 17 fingers on his left hand. But you see what I'm saying? Problem, reaction, solution. They cause the nonsense and then provide the solution that they wanted the whole time. It's the classic establishment move. So when everybody bitches about the free and open internet because of the botting and because of the flooding of the AI slop everywhere, which eventually will get sophisticated enough to where it does look real. Right now it's just fooling like boomers, right? But eventually it's going to get to where you really can't tell, probably. And that will, again, just be the justification to say, well, we don't know what's real and what's not real on the internet. I guess we're going to have everybody prove through identity verification and give us all your data and your information. And we'll also shut you out when you say something mean. That's coming as well, you see. So you notice that each phase of this stuff is just leading to more of what they wanted to begin with. Does that make sense? So advertising and algorithms in 2011 with Facebook, the next stage being the 2016 massive algorithmic changes that Google does because Donald Trump won the election from Russian bots, all of which was fake and made up, but still is in place. And also the coordinated, including intelligence agencies working together with Facebook, YouTube, Twitter to shut down anybody criticizing COOF. That was another phase. That was all admitted. Remember the Twitter files, Twitter leaks, all that stuff? That was all real. That was just one tip of the iceberg. And it was the Atlantic Council telling Facebook, shut all this stuff down, which was just NATO and all the goobers, the goons. So now we're in the next phase, which appears to be the rolling out of what the dead internet theory people predicted, which I don't think actually was going on in 2016, but is more accurately what's happening in 2025, right? So maybe not 2016, but 2026 is where this is really coming to fruition. And now pretty much anytime you search, unless you really alter and choose what and specify with tools what you're searching, it's just, you don't get anything. You just get AI generated crap, and the AI literally is wrong half of the time. And it doesn't matter how many times they like roll out like version 5, version. I don't use ChatGPT. I use Grok though. Grok still gets basic shit wrong. The only thing that Grok has helped me do is like tech stuff. It has been helpful for that, like actually making all this stuff hook up and work in here, which was a kind of a hassle. It's basically the only thing that it's done for me. Enshittification, that's right. That's the term everybody's using for. They're turning the internet into basically a giant pile of shit on purpose, presumably for this.
I think is quite incredible. I think it's unbelievable, actually.
The internet as we know it is dying. Remember when the internet was a goldmine of discovery? Every click led somewhere new, random websites surprised us, brought us together, and gave us joy. Each corner of the web felt alive with human creativity. But now we're trapped on the same 4 to 5 websites. Half our conversations are with bots we can't even identify, our feeds overflow with ChatGPT generated content, everything looks real, but nothing feels human anymore.
Also, the reliance on these stupid AI things is making people dumb, especially the younger people, because they're now raised on this, and they actually just default to it. And we started seeing this a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe even, with people relying on this in debates, right? Even that idiot feminist, the worst debater of all time, not so erudite, literally reads the ChatGPT responses in her debate. Misfit Patriot reading the ChatGPT responses in debate. Just like the Gaytheists that I debated, they do the same thing. So this is like literally making people completely stupid, and but they think this is an authority.
The dead internet theory originated on Agora Road's Macintosh Cafe, where anonymous users compiled evidence of what they believed destroyed the golden days of the internet. According to the theory, the internet died somewhere around 2016. What replaced it was a manufactured reality where algorithms dictate what we see, serving us sanitized content designed to maximize ad revenue. Online conversations with humans became conversations with bots. And now with generative AI, even the content itself is fake, written by machines, not people. The endgame is control. Corporations and governments use this artificial ecosystem to manipulate our purchases, reshape our political beliefs, and enforce conformity. They manufacture consensus, making us doubt.
That's the key. The main purpose is eventually to try to manufacture consensus, especially perception management and nudging, basically, but not human nudging like Cass Sunstein talked about 15 years ago, but bot nudging and kind of pushing people. And that's why, I'll give you an example. I never, ever use the For You. Ever. And I always tell people, do not use the For You, because it's literally designed according to the Silicon Valley people themselves in their books, right? We just did a analysis of Jaron Lanier's book, who helped design some of the stuff that he wrote. When Jamie read it and we did a discussion on that, he said that Silicon Valley is literally run by a cult that believes that they will create a fake god AI and people will believe it and they'll run the cult. And then when you understand the Game B, Teal, Anduril, Palantir, I forget the other one, all this Lord of the Rings stuff, they think they're going to be like the feudal lords over the normies and the dummies that are going to worship their AI god in their mega cities tech dystopia. Now, as you guys know, we cover predictive programming in Hollywood a lot. I was not shocked, but also I was enlightened. And I thought it was very interesting when I watched Alien Earth. I don't know if you guys know, but everybody's talking about the newest installment of the Alien series, which is now a show on FX. It's really good. I mean, I usually don't like sci-fi because it's almost always just the most soy programming. This is actually pretty good. Not even because of like, oh, sci-fi, we're going to fly around in space and be gay. No. Because of the themes. So if you've watched the first few episodes of Alien Earth, you notice that it's a future where the world is no longer nation states, but it's actually divided up by 5 or 6 corporations. So instead of countries, you have Weyland-Yutani, you have the Prodigy Corporation. I forget the other ones, but the theme of the series is the battle between the Prodigy Corporation and the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, which is actually a pretty fascinating way to take the Alien franchise narrative. So it's pretty good. But what's interesting is that it's a battle between AI and synthetic humans and androids, and then the bioengineering works of Weyland-Yutani. So Weyland-Yutani is not as interested in AI and androids. They want to focus on the bioengineering stuff. Anyway, I just thought it was really fascinating that, the corporate elites want 6 global countries that are 6 corporations. And that's the future, not the nation state. Could you imagine, like I said, what did the Pope of the Future predict? The Pope of the Future predicted living in a Walmart. Listen, if I'm going to have to live in a corporation city, please don't be Walmart. I don't know. I got to think about what corporation I want to live in. Because it's all going to be pretty fake and gay. Anyway. So let's get back to this, because it just reminded me of the tech overlords and basically they want to create this sci-fi Dungeons and Dragons LARPing world where they're the dungeon masters.
Our own thoughts when they don't match the popular opinion we see online. But that popular opinion, it might not even be human. Here's a number that should terrify you. Bots now make up half of all internet traffic, with human activity dropping every year. Some bots are helpful. You've probably chatted with Reddit bots or Discord bots designed to moderate content or answer questions. These are the friendly faces of automation, but they're increasingly becoming the minority. The internet is drowning in malicious bots. Anonymous, untraceable, and multiplying rapidly. They're not here to help. They're here to manipulate.
We're going to go to open calls in a second. If you disagree, you go to the head of the line. We're going to watch a little bit of this, though. So please, guys, how come nobody has patience anymore? Patience. Relax.
Scam and deceive. In Ireland, the situation is even worse. Bad bots account for 71% of all internet traffic. Nearly 3/4 of their internet isn't even human. They're even here in the YouTube comments. This bot is claiming it makes $230,000 every 4 weeks. 19 other bots replied, all claiming similar success. Click on any profile. There's 0 subscribers, 0 posts, account created 3 days ago. Some were made just 9 hours ago. This is a bot network. One person running dozens of fake accounts, programming the bots to talk to each other to create an illusion of credibility. And while it may be easy to spot,
Brother, why you disagree with me, brother? We will run the bot against you. Do not redeem, sir. Sir. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Well,